I think most of us sold our soul to the devil, and we forgot who we are, where we're coming from, and what our history is. I spend my time greeting people, the same faces I see every day, all ages, beautiful faces, beautiful smiles. Just for that, I wouldn't trade anything to give them up. I'm well grounded. I know myself. We all have wings, and our wings can take us to different horizons.
Hello, and welcome to Forward Moves, the podcast that charts the successful journey of thought leaders in the creative community. I'm your host, Raja Haddad. Before we start, I would like to thank you for your support and for tuning in. It's thanks to you that I'm having this fantastic conversation with amazing people. Today's episode is very, very special. For I am sitting with someone who's best described as the voice that connects worlds. Hello, Ricardo Karam. How are you?
Hi, Raja. I'm happy to be with you, and thank you for inviting me to your podcast.
Well, thank you for accepting, and thank you. I know that you have, in French we say, an agenda de ministre. You have an amazing schedule, and just happened that we are both in Beirut today, overlapping over 2 days. So thank you for your time and for being generous with your time and for welcoming you in your office. It's like walking into an art gallery. Ricardo Karam is a name that for many of us across the Arab world has represented depth, curiosity, and above all, dignity in media. He interviewed world leaders, thought leaders, spiritual icons, and global change makers, yet remained deeply rooted in authenticity and purpose. Ricardo is an AUB alumni, just like me, something we share, gaining his bachelor in chemical engineering.
Exactly.
That was a surprise for me. And later completing an MBA from LAU. But his heart was in media from early days, starting with Magic 102. At the time when I was listening to Magic 102 and Pax Radio, so I don't know which was better.
How could you do?
He made the transition to TV in 1996, I think, if I've got the dates right, leading with the talk show formats with Maraya, Warai Al-Wujuh, and Ma Ricardo Karam, just to name a few. Establishing, but this is what is very interesting, establishing his signature, your signature, style of calm, thoughtful conversations instead of the high decibel debates that was probably prevailing at the time. And his passion for talking with people carries on until today with your podcast, Conversations with Ricardo Karam. But Ricardo is also a successful entrepreneur, having launched RK Productions and as well as PCOM. He is also the founder of TAKREEM Foundation, a bridge builder between East and West, celebrating the potential we have in the region and mentoring future talents. And that foundation extended to other platforms such as Tech Minds and TAKREEM America.
Exactly.
All in all, confirming him as the storyteller by excellence, who has helped the Arab world reclaim its narrative. And that's a point that is dear to my heart, Ricardo, because my question is, do you think we lost the narrative?
I believe we lost our dignity as Arabs.
Oh, do tell more, please. Do tell more.
I think most of us sold our soul to the devil, and we forgot who we are, where we're coming from, and what our history is. We come from a region that is very rich.
Mm-hmm.
Very rich in history, in stories, in successes, and in an eagerness to renew itself across all those years. And suddenly you see that globalization that made the whole world one big village.
Yeah.
I think making us forget all of that and taking us to new shores where the easy is what matters.
Yeah.
And start copying, cloning. Plagiarism became our motto in life. Wanted to please and wanted to follow the trends and not to be trendsetters. And here we are, whether you are in Beirut or in Dubai or in Doha or in any European city, sometimes forget about the sceneries and forget about the streets, the architecture. Everybody is alike.
Here, that's a shocker. I didn't expect that reaction, because what you said should be all the reasons why dignity is preserved. You know, when we talk about cultures, when we talk about heritage, when we talk about long years and decades and centuries of bringing all this together, all these are the ingredients. And I'm equating culture to dignity. You know, when you talk about dignity, I think about, you know, identity, right? What you're describing, the way I understand it, is that these are the ingredients of preserving and nurturing such an identity and not losing our dignity.
Humanity doesn't matter anymore in this part of the world. When you see what we went through the last 2 years, and when you see the war on Gaza, and when you see the war on the south of Lebanon, when you see what's happening in Sudan, what's happening in Yemen, you sometimes wonder if humanity prevails, and if people were really concerned by what is happening. I cannot generalize, of course. There is a minority that was glued to this iPhone and to TVs and to media outlets to follow what was happening. We were concerned, they were demonstrating, they were raising the voice, they're being vocals, but they were a minority, trust me.
Yeah.
And you go to the West, and you see in the West, people living the agony of all those victims day and night. You wonder, how can this happen?
Yeah.
Deux poids, deux mesures.
Ouais. It's a paradox.
So this is for me, you know,
that's what
we lost our dignity.
Yeah.
And I mentioned the word soul, and that reminds me now of a movie. I believe you watched it, and maybe your public has watched it. The Man Who Sold His Skin.
Yes, of course.
And I think it was a very powerful movie.
Yes.
About the Syrian gentleman who ran away from Syria from jail and who came to Beirut. And he needed to leave Beirut to start a new life. And he wanted a visa. And he waited till one day he fell on a bunch of European people who were here for an art deal. And they decided to catch him and to take him and to become an installation product. So himself, you know, decided
he became the piece of art.
Painting, you know, on his skin, on his back, and he became a celebrity all over. On the covers of magazines.
So telling as a movie,
And he made money. He was living in the most beautiful suites worldwide. And he had everything. Women, money, fame, success. And then suddenly, you know, he woke up, he said, come on, you know, I have all of this, but the love of my life is waiting for me in Al-Raqqa in Syria.
Yes.
And my mom is waiting for me. And we see him speaking to his mom from time to time over the phone. And the mom, if I recall well, her legs were
amputated.
Correct. And his girlfriend was waiting for him. And he left everything and he went back to Syria, despite all the danger he was subject to, because he wanted to get back his dignity. And this is what happened. So this is, you know, when I say we lost our dignity, and definitely when I think about when we want to talk about our legacy, or the legacy of the Arab world and the heritage and the talents and the wonderful people, we cannot stop talking. It will take, you know, hours and hours. But this does not make us people at the forefront of where we're supposed to be. I think we lost our competition with time.
Yeah.
And we are far beyond we were supposed to be.
I see your point now. It's kind of a mixed bag of uncertainty and fast movement and wanting to acquire what is not really ours, hoping that this can forge a certain identity. But I think what you're referring to is that we need to go back to the roots. We need to go back to the origins. The example of the Syrian refugees who went back to Raqqa, he went back to his roots. He went back to his origins. He went back to his love. And I think if we find that in what we are trying to do, then this kind of imposter syndrome that we might be facing, that, oh, we're just going to clone what is happening here and there, might take a back seat to authenticity and genuine innovations.
Raja, you mentioned twice the word identity. What is identity for you?
Oh my God! Now we're turning the chairs. If you ask me today what is identity, I equate it with values. I don't equate it to a place. I don't equate it to an ethnicity. It's the values you embrace, the values you adopt, the contributions you bring to an entourage around you, whether it's a society, whether it's community, that's what forges an identity. It's
the
not
values that attach us,
that brings us together,
to the land, to the society, to the community we are part of.
Exactly.
And this is what was lost.
Yeah.
We have transformed our identities into tools of differences and tools that yield to blood and to killing, to hatred.
Mm-hmm.
And differences are not anymore sources of richness. They are definitely a tool for us not to accept the other. We talk about compassion, about empathy. Who has empathy? Who has empathy when people were happy when they saw the South being bombarded? When the pager operation happened in Lebanon, and when young gentlemen and families and children lost their eye. I read about a gentleman whose babies were born after what happened.
I couldn't see them. Yeah.
I think we're fragmented and we need decades to restore our humanity.
What could bring that back?
This is a big question, and this is culture by itself. Love, we need love. I am on Twitter and I write from time to time. I see what people want from me. So when I write, and I'm very balanced what I write, and what I tweet about is me. People want me to hate. I cannot hate. People want me to take positions with the group they believe in, with the motto they are attracted to. They want me to praise the party they are part of and the community they are part of. And today, it's not at all differences in ideologies, in thinking, in opinions, in synergies, in partnerships and alliances. It's more not accepting the other. Because, remember the slogan, the famous one, ما بيشبهونا? No, I would say, no, ما بيشبهونا are the people who do not have the values we have. The one who looks like me is the one with whom I share values.
Yes.
Who would accept me the way I am, and whom I would accept the way he is or she is. And this is, what I long to, and this is what we have missed, what we have lost, and this is what needs to be restored.
And I love that. We are governed by fear from each other. We are building walls among each other. And at the core of that is that we are no longer curious about each other. So when you tell me that people want you to hate people they hate, they're not curious about who are these people, what motivates them.
Exactly.
What drives them, what worries them, what joy do they live? They just want to replicate what they are feeling. And if you're not like them, you're outside, you're an outsider.
You know why? The war started in 1975 effectively. It did start years before, but effectively. And if you go through Wikipedia or through the history, it's in 1975. Whereas it was ignited before.
The walls were there before.
Exactly. 1958,
Yes.
and then 1969, 1972. So we had a lot of signals that would announce, that were alarming, and that would have made us feel the war was going to start somewhere in some time. So it started in 1975. And now we are at the end of 2025, 50 years of war. And the war did not end yet. Because the people who lived the war in 1975 narrated it to their own children the way they lived
The
it.
way they lived it.
And the children
Carried
know
on.
it the way it was, I wouldn't say brainwashed, the way they were brainwashed, but the way they were told about it. And in their turn, they narrated it to their own children. So it went from one generation to another, to another, to another, the same way the grandparents, great-grandparents lived it. And that is this is what's fearful.
Yeah, I agree with you. And that's why the importance of storytelling. That's what, as species, Homo sapiens, they survived on the Neanderthals, thanks to stories, because they would go out, come back to their communities, tell about their hunting, about what they saw out there.
And if stories are not told, they vanish.
They vanish. And if they vanish, the community vanishes. What you're describing is even worse than vanishing stories. It's the narration that is manipulated to deliver a message that suits us. And which, brings me to a point I wanted to discuss with you at a point. I think you once said that, growing up or living in Lebanon with, teaches you to live with uncertainty. And when I heard that, I kind of related it to this. I want to be very careful because I don't want to upset many Lebanese friends. This perception of Lebanese resilience. And I, at the risk of being controversial, I have an issue with that, Ricardo. We celebrate Lebanese resilience, but I look at it as if it's an excuse for not moving forward. What you just said in terms of how we package the story to suit our own narrative is not resilience.
I hate that word. I don't like it.
Oh gosh, I have my notes. I have my notes here. Be careful how you ask this. Because
honestly, I like the word resourcefulness. I love it. This is, what we are, who we are. I belong to a generation that has decided to remain in Lebanon. I do have, and I said it already several times, several nationalities. And I have apartments abroad, and all my work is abroad. I have not made one single penny in this country. However, I have taken a decision to remain here for many reasons. First of all, I want to be part of this daily struggle and this daily exercise to make this place a better one. Two, I want my children to be nurtured with those values and to see them shape an identity, a true one, a genuine one. And three, because of the people who are amazing, the energy. The energy in Lebanon, the vibes you see, the people. I run every morning. When I'm in Lebanon, I go to the Corniche. I run by the sea. I smell the shore, the waves, the écume. And then I spend my time greeting people, the same faces I see every day. All ages, beautiful faces, beautiful smiles. Just for that, I wouldn't trade anything to give them up.
That's what makes an identity.
So I see the same old people sitting on a bench every morning. I see that the guy I made famous in Lebanon, Sami Khouri, who has his transistor and who sings every day, and people come and give him, some money. And when I did a small film about him, he became, the star of the Corniche. see him every day, see, the one who sells the kak, every morning, and we buy kak from him and we eat. And we're eating the same people and stopping and arguing about few things, talking politics, commenting on something happening, people coming, taking pictures with me. Just, for that, I say, oh my God, those are the best mornings.
Has this been with you from the very beginning, that yearning of connecting? Because what you're telling me is connecting with people. And when I introduced you, I hope you don't mind, called you the voice that connects the worlds. Has it been with you from the very beginning, Ricardo, that reach out for others?
Thank you, first of all, for how you've called me and how you see me. It's so nice. You're being very generous to me.
I'm being very factual.
Listen, I owe a lot of that to AUB.
Mm.
The campus of AUB shaped who I am and shaped my thinking. I was coming from a very Christian region, and I went to a mixed region. I went to a campus, but at difficult times,
Mm-hmm.
where Lebanon was divided and I was afraid from the other.
Mm.
And this is where I learned that the other is me and I am the other.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And together we form a choir, and a choir that is Lebanon.
Absolutely.
With our diversity, with our differences, with our contrast. And I started, I believe, connecting with everybody.
Yeah.
And I love people generally. And I made friends all over the world. And when I say friends, irrespective of who they are, the parking guardian, the guy who sells manaish every single morning, the waiters, the cab drivers, all those people, I talk to them, and genuinely, and I learn from them a lot.
Because you're curious.
And I believe who I am,
you're curious.
thanks to all those people.
Yeah. Because you're curious. You want to know about the other, right?
Yes, and I have embraced humanity.
Yeah.
I'm part of the party of humanity. And this is, I believe, what connects us: to be human, to love, to feel weakened when you see the others weakened as well, and to feel strong when you see others empowered. I think my most important achievement in life was empowering the people who follow me, the people, who listen to me, who watch me, who read me, and people who do not know me.
Yeah.
And I know, because I receive millions of messages on a daily basis from all over the world. And just for that, I'm always tearful when I read what they send me. And I say, oh, this is your success. This is where you've succeeded. It's not about fame and connections and having lunch.
You said that connection
at the White House
connection.
and having it at the Buckingham Palace. Who cares about that?
Because here's the thing.
Some people, they would pay anything they have
to be at that table.
Well,
yeah.
For me, it was done.
Yeah.
It happened. I don't talk about it. It doesn't matter. It did not make me a better person.
Yeah.
What made me a better person is when I empower the other, and when I make him or make her feel that they are human beings and they are like me, like you, like anybody else.
Right.
When they feel they are nothing.
Yeah. At the right time. Yeah. Because here's the thing, Ricardo. I mean, in those early years when you were having all these interviews that helped you build that network of influential people, let's say it, I've always wondered, how do you keep it real? And you just described it. Mm-hmm. You just described it. Yeah. Because you weren't just doing interviews. People were watching these interviews, and Ricardo Karam, they know, is that, this lovely person talking to all these influential people. But the way I understand from what you're telling me, you weren't just doing interviews. You were crafting trust. You were connecting with people, and people were opening up to you. And now I understand that it would be the same thing, whether it's Bill Gates or Vayal Kag at the Corniche. What is your life hack for doing that? Because there's one thing of preparing for an interview, obviously, the research, but there's another thing of simply connecting. What is your life hack in doing that?
I have reached a point in my life where most of what I do is done in a very genuine way. And I love simplicity in everything. I do my homework. I'm a readaholic, by the way. I read a lot. And this is, I think the ingredient that had allowed me to stand tall and fit and strong, because I've worked on myself. I've worked on my skills, and I never said I have everything and let me continue doing things the way that they used to be done. No, I'm a constant learner, and I love to learn.
Do you rate self-awareness high on your list? So when you say that you're a constant learner, you worked on yourself, that requires a certain amount of self-awareness.
I'm grounded. I'm well grounded. I know myself. We all have wings. And our wings can take us to different horizons. I don't think it happens. Sometimes you want to fly. But when I fly is only the time I repeat, I see the people around me impacted. And it's never about me. And if you follow my interviews, my podcast today, if you read about it, it's never about me. I scarcely talk about me. It's about the others. And I put the other at the forefront of anything I do. And it has never been around me. At the beginnings, of course, I wanted to have a name. I wanted to be known. I wanted people to talk about me. I wanted to be on the covers of magazines. I wanted to be interviewed by everybody. It's normal. And I was in my early 20s.
You're building a name. You're building
At the minute, it was a turning point in my life.
I was going to ask you about that, but go ahead.
Yeah, when I discovered, that what I did was so big. And what I did was writing the history of media in this part of the world.
Yes.
I am part of it. I was aware that, my role was not like any other anchorman, like any other journalist. It was much more than that. I built a lot. It's because I'm workaholic. It's because I had a lot of ideas. I always make the ideas tangible, and I work for that. And I believe the connections I made with people, the quality of connections, the real connection, the genuine and the human relations allowed me to make all my ideas a reality. They did help me. And this is why my foundations, mushrooms, succeeded, proliferated, grew, my forums. And then, of course, the harvest is when everybody wants you. All the forums worldwide, to go and give talks to universities, schools, the biggest worldwide. And we say, wow, you made it. This is, when you found out that you made it. But the moment, I woke up one of those days, I said, come on, you've done everything, you've interviewed everybody. Almost everybody, not everybody, but almost everybody. You saw kings, queens, presidents, prime ministers, the biggest artists worldwide. You had dinner with them. You had lunch with them. You met the Pope. You met Nelson Mandela, the Dalai Lama. You traveled all over the place.
And you connected with all of them. It's not just talking to them.
And then you found the love of your life. And then you built a family. What else do you need? You need to impact other people.
Mm-hmm.
You need to help other people. And this is, when my life shifted to helping people. And I spent, honestly, 50% of my time doing charity work and helping people.
And that's the background for TAKREEM and all the associated projects.
I wake up every morning, I have tons, hundreds of requests through social media. And my team starts screaming. And sometimes my wife tells me, come on, you need to be pitiful towards yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Give yourself a break.
Mm-hmm.
It's not possible to stay till 1 a.m. sometimes trying to solve issues and to call all your connections worldwide to help.
Mm-hmm.
Schools, universities,
you name it.
Rents, visas, people in jail, start helping people all day, all night long. But I love it. And this is, the moment something was solved, I feel, I'm flying.
That's gratifying. It is gratifying. And you touched about the media landscape in Lebanon and in the Arab world. But let's talk about Lebanon. Surely your journey hasn't been without storms, right? Whether it's financial crisis, whether it's political pressures, yet you stood firm. You held your ground. You've always came across as somebody who is reinventing himself, but staying true to himself. You just told us that part of that is being humble. Part of that is being self-aware. Part of that is being curious about the other. Do you apply all these in your day-to-day life, not only in your professional context?
They go together. I don't have two different lives. I have one life. And everything, I wouldn't say is overlapping, but it intercept to the other. The professional aspect and the personal aspect, they are all together. And
at the time where everybody tried to separate that,
it's impossible.
You bring them together.
It lives with you.
Yeah.
You cannot. You cannot. The only time when I think I'm detached and I am another person is when I'm with my family.
Mm-hmm.
This is the only time. With my wife and my kids.
Boys.
I don't see them a lot.
Yeah.
See them in the morning before they go to school and 1 hour in the evening. I attempt every day when I'm in Lebanon to have dinner with them. And then even if I go out, I wouldn't have dinner out. I would have dinner home with my kids.
That's a good thing to do.
This is the only time I see them. And now, they are big enough. Now they have their own programs and they have their love stories.
Of course.
So definitely, I think you went through that. And we are friends.
Yes. And I think that's
especially the boys. They are boys.
Yes.
So the two big ones are as tall as me. And I'm so proud of them.
I can see that. Your whole body language changed, Ricardo. There's no reason why you wouldn't be proud.
Right? Thank you.
But certainly there were moments in life, and I'm talking about the family, but even though you tell me it's not dissociated, but in your professional life, there must have been moments where you just wanted to jeter l'éponge, just say, khalas, I don't want to do that anymore. Or that's too much for me to handle. What would pull you back? Because you didn't give up. I'm asking this question, it's a rhetorical question. What pulled you back at these moments?
Many things. First of all, it was a choice to go into journalism. I'm a chemical engineer, as you know, with an MBA, and I have not pursued a career in using my
studies,
educational background.
Yeah.
I went to something I love. When I was at AUB, I was a pre-medical student, and I had presented the MCAT, the medical college admission test, and was accepted. I was number 32 among 50 students, and we were 1,000 to present that test. And I've decided to let down the medical studies because it was not me. I would be happy. And you come once on earth and once to be happy. And so I said, this is my world. When I was a kiddo, you mentioned that at the beginning, in my 13, 14 years old, my voice was not the voice of a man still, and I was a radio broadcaster.
You were, exactly.
And I loved it.
Yes, exactly.
And I loved connecting with people, talking to them. But I never thought that I would reach where I am today. So the minute I joined the TV industry and I became someone very known in Lebanon and afterwards in the Middle East, and then I've reached new heights when we went into the satellite era, went to the whole world. So whether in Sydney, whether in the South,
the world opened up.
People, of course, they follow, and I have a high viewership all over the place, all over the world. And then the social media came, and of course, it brought you to new audiences. And however, going back to your question, it was a tough life. It was a tough experience from my beginnings. Animosities, jealousies.
But there's something that kept you anchored.
And envies. And sometimes that from colleagues, sometimes, and most of the time, from the owners of the TV channels. What pushed me to go on, to sustain, to counter everything, I believe faith in myself. I believed in myself. And I had always put goals. And I wanted to reach those goals. And I said, the minute you reach those goals, you'll be careless. And you can fly on your own. And this is what happened.
And that's what happened.
And I told this in an interview. I don't recall with whom. One day I was in an elevator. And I had the owners of a TV channel in that elevator. So one of them looked at me. He looked at my shoes and he said, "You're wearing Beirut shoes." I said, "Yes." He said, "Don't forget that before we did work together, nobody knew you. And now you're a huge celebrity." So I looked into him. I said, the moment I joined you, nobody used to follow you. Now everybody is watching you. It was for me an inflection point, a turning point, an alarming one that told me, listen, this wouldn't sustain.
Yes.
You need to be on your own. And this was the goal that I have put. Once I reached it, I made some money. I flew. I established my own company and I started going, trying to sell my own shows. From Doha to Abu Dhabi to Dubai to Kuwait. So it was the tour in the Arab world. It wasn't easy. It doesn't mean I sold them in an easy way.
Why wasn't it easy? What were the hurdles?
They were close, first of all. They were different 20 years ago. They're not what they are today. And then they had always been a management of amateurs and not professional people. And at that time, there were only locals. The locals at the time were not professionals. Now we have locals, but wonderfully professional.
Yes.
You sit with them, you enjoy working with them, and they are remarkable. But at that time, 20, 25 years ago.
It wasn't the case.
25 years ago, it wasn't the case at all.
If someone listening to us feels stuck, whether it's, creatively or personally, want to break it down to a small daily practice or daily ritual. You said believe in yourself, believe on what you can achieve, have goals. But if you break it down to like a daily ritual that will help you move forward, that will help you unstuck yourself, what would you tell them?
Today, the landscape of media has changed big time. And there is more, I wouldn't say democracy, democratization. Anybody can do whatever he wants to do. With your phone, you can be all over the place. Work on yourself, read, invent yourself. Don't stick to stupidities and to shallow things. And people are craving for content. Give content and people will follow you. Create your own identity, create your own character. Don't copy anybody and love everybody. And people will always see that.
Yes.
The content and the love you're conveying.
You come across as somebody very purposeful. You know exactly what you want. You appreciate the other, which might suggest that there's no room for spontaneity. Are there spontaneous moments that you enjoy, that you may say, hold on, this wasn't planned or this wasn't, but still I'm going to embrace it?
You know, I love this question, but when I think about it, about, my patterns, my daily patterns, my daily life, it's true that it is well prepared and condensed, but it's very spontaneous. Trust me, most of the time, I embark on adventures where nothing is prepared. But the interview is not prepared. The podcast, not prepared. And a couple of times when I had that, I forgot the name of the person I was interviewing.
Raja Haddad. Oh, hold on, you're not interviewing me.
No, interviewing, not being interviewed. So, and I laugh. And my team, the people who are with me, they've been with me for 20, 25 years. And this can tell you the loyalty.
Yes.
I have for those people and they have for me. They know me very well and I know them very well. They look at me and they know that sometimes I have this amnesia of forgetting things. No, we have a spontaneous lifestyle. We laugh a lot. A lot. I'm someone who's, who loves laughing and who loves anecdotes and who makes people laugh.
Yes.
But sometimes also I lose my temper when things are not going well because I'm very disciplined. And I deliver. And I can, at the same time, within 1 hour, deliver, what 20 people cannot deliver in 1 hour.
Do you put high expectations on yourself?
No, but I know that I can make it. I know that I'm strong enough to make things happen.
We've talked about social media and the changing media landscape, right? You've witnessed, and at the risk of like two old people talking to each other, but you've witnessed decades of transformation, from TV studios to digital formats, from long form interviews to 15-second clips. What's your honest take on how fast storytelling is shaping into something else?
I love digital media. At the beginning, I was so hesitant, and it took me years to join the platforms. I only joined the platforms effectively in 2019. Before that, I wasn't present.
A latecomer.
And then when we had this uprising in Lebanon in 2019, and people were on the street, I did start tweeting. I had a Twitter account that was latent, dormant. I've never used it. And then LinkedIn, same thing. And then Instagram, same thing.
Yeah.
And a year after I received an email from LinkedIn telling me, we have picked you as the first Lebanese influencer and top voice because of the richness of the content you are conveying and sharing. I did have, I think, a couple of thousand of followers only. I wondered why. And then I saw, how there was a massive followership on LinkedIn. It became a major part of my life. Twitter, I love it. It's for politics. And I have an interesting Instagram page, a YouTube channel, and everything was growing. And trust me, all of those tools are growing in a very spontaneous and, of course, organic way, but spontaneous way.
But it's all organic.
Spontaneous.
Yeah, it's organic growth. So you don't
So
look at...
we don't know how things happen.
Yeah.
You know, how to make, this post work better, etc. No. We work mainly on content here with my team. We never work on numbers.
Yeah.
Figures for us are not important. We would have had, I believe, maybe millions of followers if we follow trends or if we give this work to companies.
Yeah.
But everything was, and I don't want more.
Yeah.
They will come, of course, obviously, with time. But I'm happy with the niche I was able to create.
It's very interesting what you're saying. What you're offering us here is a different perspective, is that we're not losing depth of the message, of the story, of what we're doing through digital media. We're just exploring a new way of carrying on the message. That's what you are telling me. And I think it's a refreshing way of looking at it, because one can easily say, no, that's, that's not how media is done. That's not how we tell stories. Whereas you're telling me that, no,
they were incredible, I believe.
Yeah, let's embrace it.
Those platforms were incredible, and the rhythm of my work and the outreach and the impact and in changing the narratives, I believe. I've reached millions of people. There are posts that reach 10, 15 million people. And you from that, you can tell its importance. Whereas, a TV show, the maximum views would be on TV.
Exactly.
200,000 people.
Exactly. Yeah. It's made the story more accessible to a wider audience. I want to go back to something you said earlier about the amount of time you spend on society work, on charity. And I think the best embodiment of that is TAKREEM. Through that, you celebrate excellence in our region. You celebrate competency. I was honored to be invited at the dinner you held in Monaco. And when I saw Samia Halabi on stage sharing her story, I had shivers all over, because here is an accomplished, not artist, an art persona who was telling us the challenges at her age she was still facing from her alma mater. And what I'm curious, and I've always wanted to ask you, I didn't have the chance to ask you that night, but where did the idea come from? Where did the idea of TAKREEM emerge from? Was there a gap in our region to celebrate accomplishments?
Clearly. I agree with what you said. TAKREEM saw the light in 2010, and it was a brainchild of years of thoughts when Arabs were regarded in a very pejorative way, in a very negative way. I wanted to tell the whole world that we are not the way we are portrayed. We are totally different. We're innovators, entrepreneurs, thought leaders, creative, successful doctors, scientists, researchers, you name it. Come and discover who we are. This is how we change the narratives. Come and listen to our voices.
Be curious.
Come and discover who the true Arabs are. And that was before the revolutions of the Arab world. It was before the spring, the Arab Spring. And we're looking for people who are not known, who work in silence, who are change makers, and who were never acknowledged because they did not seek acknowledgement. In the Arab world, we love awards.
Yes.
They all give awards, left and right, randomly. You don't know how.
We seek them.
Know how. I was reading this morning. I don't know how I fell on it. Something sponsored, and sometimes you receive content about sponsorship, news, and matters. It seemed there was going to be the award for leading Lebanese women, and I saw a couple of names who were candidates, 2 wives of MPs. And I wanted to know, I do not know them.
Say no more. You said it all.
And I said, it's impossible. It's impossible what I'm reading. But this is it. So we came with a lot of passion to bring this idea to light and to make it happen. But it's not easy to create a foundation. It's not easy to come up with something that people would believe in, would trust. And I know that all was about integrity and transparency. So we had a mechanism of selection that is very hard, very complex, but at least that would allow us to say our awards are on another league. They're true, and they are given to deserving people. I'm not part of any board, any committee. It's 3 committees, 1 nomination board, 1 selection board, and 1 jury board. They pick the laureates, and according to their choices, we organize the big night, the big evening, and then the awards are distributed. And TAKREEM has grown, became a movement, a momentum, not only here in the States, and with our rotating forums, we move a lot with tech minds in different cities worldwide. So our action plan is to have a TAKREEM in Australia, another one in Africa, but we also give it a philanthropic arm. So every year we do a fundraising and we help a specific cause, organization that needs support, raise money for that organization.
So you give back to the community.
Exactly. So we use our contacts and our connections to help channeling some causes and make them become better and make them sustain. And in Christmas, we do a concert for 2 days, and we raise funds also to help actors and actresses so they can now, thanks to the money we're able to raise, to heat their houses, to feel warm, to have a hot shower every day, to have the food they want, and
to find dignity again. To find dignity again. Do you think, I want to loop it back to where we started about the narrative in the region. What you're describing is what this region needs, that shaping, not a different narrative, but the real narrative that comes out from here. If I want to take it a little bit further, do you see the Arab world playing a role, and what would be that role in shaping the global cultural narrative?
Of course. What we are witnessing as a rise in the Arab world in terms of cultural renaissance is remarkable. And when we see the emerging talents and the young talents mushrooming all over and being distinguished all over and being awarded and being acknowledged and exhibiting the biggest galleries worldwide and the biggest art fairs, and we see the work of all those people, the most beautiful houses, not only in the Arab world, but elsewhere, you cannot say, but, we are going onwards. And this is an example in the creative world, but let's go to other things as well.
It applies to all domains.
Let's go to the movie industry. Let's go to the music industry. Let's go to the jewelry industry. Let's go to the literature. Let's go to sports. We see today people from Qatar, people from Saudi Arabia, from UAE, from Lebanon, of course, from Egypt, they are
excelling
all over the place. And the biggest teams and getting Olympic medals and
recognition they deserve, which brings me to my next question. Thank you for the segue. When we look at the next generation, what's one truth you wish them to carry as they move forward? Because they're going to shape our future, Ricardo. What is that truth you want them to carry?
What I've stated at the beginning, I'm going to repeat myself. They need to know who they are and where they're coming from. The truth is our history. Because we cannot talk about the future unless we know the past and our roots. The truth is authenticity. Be yourself.
Believe in yourself.
Believe in yourself. Trust yourself. And say, I need to make this world a better place. This is what matters. When I say trust yourself and believe in yourself. Don't be copies of others. Don't live to please the others.
Yeah.
Don't take this iPhone and try to put the most beautiful picture of yourself, of your companion, of the family. Don't put the dog. You don't have a dog.
Don't sugarcoat it.
No, be yourself.
Yeah.
And people are craving for that. You will succeed when you are yourself.
Yeah. Is that what you told your young self, 12, 13 years old, with that cracky voice at Magic 102?
No, I don't know. Today, what I would tell myself, what I would tell to Ricardo Karam, who was 13, 14, life is beautiful, but it's not worth thinking a lot. Live the day by day.
Yeah.
Dream. I wanted to change the world. And I'm someone who made everything on his own. I never counted on any single person. And when you're autodidact, you think a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You are 13, 14, you need to enjoy life.
Before we wrap up, I always ask like rapid fire questions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like, sure. One conversation that changed you forever.
With a taxi driver in Paris.
Why?
He told me the story of a lady. He receives a call and he goes to her. And she had packed her suitcases. And she was going to a shelter house, to a maison de repos, to a hospice. And he carried the bags, put them in the car, and drove her. And she told him her own story in that cab. And she told him, before you drop me, I want to make a tour and to see the city for the last time.
Oh.
So he took her to the landmarks that were turning points in her own life, and to the cafes where she met the love of her life, the places she used to go to, and it was the finale for her. So she went to never get back and come back where she used to be. So that has really, really impacted me. And he was telling me, and I was tearful. And I never forget that drive in my life.
What was the hardest interview you've ever done?
There's no hard interview.
A book or a quote that you often go back again and again. I mean, you mentioned Identité meurtrière a couple of times, so I'm assuming like me maybe, or that's being very pretentious of me, that Amin Maalouf is one of your, favorite writers. But is there a particular book or quote you go back to every now and then?
I'm not recalling. There was a beautiful quote by what's her name? Emily Earhart. Yeah, Emily Earhart. And I read it once and I forget it. I'm not recalling it pretty well, but she says, everybody has wings to fly.
What does forward mean to you?
Speed up. Don't miss opportunities. Embrace tomorrow. Yesterday is gone.
Mm-hmm.
Many of that.
Mm-hmm. And what is the music you go to, or a song, or whenever you want to either write something or jog, or is there something that you listen to?
I love music. Music
That's why I'm asking the question.
gave me so much happiness in my life. It had, like everybody, I believe, it is a companion of all the moments, happy and sad. When you're broken and when you are winners. I love a lot the Bee Gees. Of course, Ziad Rahbani and Fayrouz.
Is there one specific tune that would come to you?
Yeah. مواقف دارينا.
Oh.
نطرونا كتير على مواقف دارينا. زياد رحباني for Fayrouz.
Yeah.
For me, it's one of the nicest songs. I don't know why. It's about waiting. It's about missing time.
Yeah. It's about
It's
love.
about love stories that do not conclude. It's mixed feeling when I listen to that song that is almost 50 years age.
But it's ageless.
It's a timeless.
Yeah, timeless.
Everything Ziad Rahman did is timeless.
You're right. Yeah, such a loss. Such loss. Ricardo, what I love about your story is that it reminds us that media, at its best, isn't about the spotlight. It's about service. It's about servicing the others. It's about telling the stories of others. And that, when you told me that earlier, I already knew it, but you just confirmed it to me. So I thank you for that. You've built bridges. You've elevated others. You've shown us the strength of listening. That's something that we lost. We don't listen. So I thank you for that. And I thank you for joining me today and for sharing your experience with us.
Thank you, Raja. You went so deep into things, and I love that. And I believe this is what makes your podcast a different one. And I hope we'll keep on going forward through that podcast and with you. And I hope the future will bring us together soon.
I'm definitely looking forward to it. Thank you for joining me on Forward Moves and for reminding us that progress is as much about stillness than about moving forward. This has been Forward Moves with me, Raja Haddad, and we've been talking to Ricardo Karam, the voice that connects worlds. If you liked the episode, give us a 5-star rating, download it, share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe. Until then, keep on moving forward.